How you guys doing today? Bob LaChance, Chris the drummer, Bose from Preforeclosure Daily Grind. We got some good information that's a little bit changing of the guard right now that we're feeling in the industry right now. And it has to do with first mortgages and what they're allowing second mortgages. We are actually running into a lot of challenges the last, 3-4 months or so because these second mortgages now are requiring 10% net in their pocket for a short sale acceptance, for them for them to accept the short sale. Okay, in Wachovia, for instance, right now, this is one in particular lender that has been very, very good to us lately. They've allowed second mortgages 10% of their principal, and I'll let Chris talk about his buddy Gabe there from Wachovia in this particular deal that we just went through.
He's a good guy. We had a deal. We have a deal here. We're finishing up here shortly with Wachovia in the first position, Bank of America in the second. As many of you guys probably know, recently Bank of America is now doing 5% of the net to the first, as far as what the minimum is that they'll accept. In the case of this property, we got $5,000 out of Wachovia, which is pretty cool. That's usually a little bit more than firsts will pay, and we had gotten the buyer on board to pay the difference. And at first we weren't sure that Wachovia was going to allow that to happen, but I spoke with Gabe last week, went over the situation, and basically very black and white just said this is going to save this deal. We will not get this thing done, and we will not get you guys the net that you want if we don't allow the buyers, additionally the $10,000 the buyer was putting on the HUD, or putting into the deal, to be on the HUD.
So he allowed, what they did, what Wachovia is doing now, they're allowing an outside party, whether it's the buyer or the seller's mother, it doesn't matter. They're allowing them to come in and pay off the remaining balance of what a second requires. For instance, if Bank of America wants, I don't know, 10%, let's just say, throw out a number. If they want 10%, which is 20 grand, okay, of the net, and Wachovia is allowing 10 grand, right? Wachovia is the first mortgage allowing 10 grand, and there's another 10 grand we got to find, and the buyer's willing to pay it.
Right.
So they're allowing them to actually put that on the HUD 1 settlement statement, which is awesome. So everything's fully disclosed, and Wachovia is okay with it.
At least on this deal they are.
At least on this deal.
We'll have to see if it's going to become something that they'll do on every deal.
But what the loss mitigator did say is they're well aware of this, and a lot of second mortgages are requiring either 10% of their principal value, or just like Bank of America, like Chris said, 5% of the first mortgage net. They're well aware of this, so their investors who actually own this money are okay with this lately.
As long as they're getting the net that they wanted. And that's the other point that I clarified with Gabe. I said, just so you understand, you guys have given me 318.5 on this particular property, is the lowest, is the net that you guys have to hit per your investor guidelines. And I just laid it right out too. I also said, listen Gabe, the reality of the situation is, you guys are, by allowing this to be on the HUD, just to make all the attorneys happy, you're still going to get your same net. You guys are still going to get your 318.5 out of this. This is not taken out of.
And they were good with that.
Right.
So, and talk about the recent one we actually just got yesterday.
Yep. I just got an approval letter yesterday in from one of the companies that we actually talked about last week, First Franklin, which is outsourcing to Home Loan Services. That company, Home Loan Services, just got an approval from them. I explained to the negotiator, I said, again, similar as with our Wachovia property, this is what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with a lot of seconds that either want 10% of the principal, of their principal at closing, or they want, sometimes in cases, even more. She said, as long as my numbers work, we should be good to go. And sure enough, her numbers worked, and got the first to pay the full 10% to the second.
So that's two lenders. So would you say First Franklin?
Yeah.
First Franklin, they now outsource it to Home Loan Services?
Yep.
Home Loan Services and Wachovia. Those two lately have been very good to us with allowing second mortgages 10% of their principal amount, or if your second mortgage is Bank of America, 5% of the net of the first mortgage.
Right.
I hope that's not confusing. If it is confusing, just email us in at Preforeclosure Daily Grind, respond to a comment or post a comment, and we'll clarify in our next video.
Exactly.
And again, if you guys have anything that you guys want us to talk about, okay, just let us know and post a comment on the video, on any particular video, and we'll get back to you and we'll do a video on it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Definitely. Chris Bose, the drummer, not the top loss mitigator anywhere. I'm taking over that that, right, Chris?
Except that I kind of get more approval letters than you do.
He is kicking my butt on approval letters, but that's okay. But anyway, Bob LaChance, Chris Bowes, Pre-Foreclosure Daily Grind. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good one.